Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Jonathan back again with the weekly scuffle, and I'm here to talk about the Miami Heat and whether or not they should tank. Obviously, this comes after Tyler Hero had an interview stating, to keep it a buck, we're not contenders, and I agree with him. We're definitely not contenders right now, sitting at ninth in the Eastern Conference, which isn't saying much because the East is so weak. Honestly, I believe that the Heat are lacking talent. They've definitely had improvements in that area because of the young players that they came in, especially throughout the summer league, and of course drafting the last few years with Khalil Ware, Pelio Larson, and Jaime Hawkins Jr. That area has definitely improved. The Heat potentially have two lottery picks in this year's draft, which could honestly be amazing for their future. Because knowing the Heat, we're gonna try to win, potentially end up in the play-in, and then eventually fizzle out, lose, and then be a high lottery team instead of, tanking like most teams would probably do in this scenario. And securing yourself a Cooper Flagg, a Dylan Harper, and a Spaley. Honestly, any of these three guys, if the Heat were to jump up in the lottery and be able to select any of the three, would be absolute amazing news for the franchise. Granted, if someone like John Morant were to become available, I would not be surprised. If Pat Riley decides, yeah, I'm not going to draft a young guy, I'm going to go with John Morant. But, with the way him and Mickey have been operating, necessarily not all-star chasing and maybe building through the draft could be an option for the future. Now, the Heat's front office has done an amazing job at actually drafting talent, and I think if we get one more young piece, I think this team could contend in the near future while still being competitive now, especially if you add two great lottery picks this year with the Warriors pick, with your own pick. If the pick is high enough, I think the Heat roster could definitely be an intriguing one for the future. Granted, nothing is a guarantee. Like if a KD becomes a free agent this offseason, do you target him? Do you target a 36-year-old KD? I personally love his fit on the team, but what do you have to give up for him? And honestly, it's a tricky scenario for the Heat. If they have a top three pick, maybe it's easier to trade for a KD or a John Morant because you don't have to give up as much, especially your young guys like Khalil Ware, like Hawkins, or whoever else. Other teams may be interested regardless. I think the Heat team is definitely kind of in NBA purgatory right now. The picks that they own, including their own, could change that as soon as next year, but we have to really wait and see how the next half of the season goes. I believe they have one of the easiest strength of schedules left. Granted, that doesn't mean much when you're the Miami Heat because you could be up by 50 points and blow that lead in the fourth quarter. So regardless, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Heat move forward, what the direction of the Heat franchise is. I think this summer is definitely going to be a huge aspect to that. I think the NBA lottery could determine a lot of things for the Miami Heat, specifically if they were to miss the playoffs entirely and be maybe a top 8 lottery projected like team. I think that definitely could be interesting for the Heat. Will they trade out? Will they draft somebody? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows at this point. Pat Riley, always a big fish hunter. So if John Morant becomes available, KD, maybe he won't be able to resist. Maybe he will. And he'll just continue building to the draft, which hasn't been bad for him so far. But at the same time, I get the sense that they want to instant success. They don't necessarily want to build a young team and see what happens. But I think he should tank. Will they tank? Probably not. I think it's going to be a bit of a back and forth. And I think, we'll land a star and we'll be competitive. But will we reach the championship and actually win it? That is yet to be seen. But I guess we'll see how all this plays out and see you next time. Peace.